Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. On yesterday evening, there was a telethon, Hands to Hands, raising money for the devastation that has taken place on the coast. And it involved actors and people who are important. And I believe they raised some 15 or so million dollars last night for this particular cause. 15 or so million dollars on top of all of the millions that people have contributed up to this point. And that's a pretty good little piece of money. Might be able to take care of at least a block, maybe 2 blocks of one of those communities. And the government has committed itself to couple of billions of dollars, which will help a great deal. It might even take care of a full city or a couple of full cities in a particular state. Well, I guess what it really says is that the problem is humongous and the solution is just as great. But what you actually see if you pay attention to it is that most human beings got some compassion within. And this is why you're able to see people standing up and rising to the occasion, as the guys who were soliciting funds over the telethon were indicating. People do rise up. They give, some give little, some give big, depending on what they have. And it brings to mind a situation where we can actually see all of the good that people are trying to do. And yet, when we really get down to the facts, we see that that is a very small piece of what is required to take care. And if they continue to ask the people for donations, let's say if they had to expect or need more money from the general public to take care of, maybe a little bit more bigger portion of this is not going to take care of it all under those circumstances. And you were willing to give. And like the people who stood out the storm, you get some relief when the floods goes down, or when it seems like your efforts are having some positive results, and you take a breath. And before you can get breath back in and enjoy it, another storm is coming from another direction, causing and then threatening to cause just as much devastation. And the fires didn't stop, they just started over in a different location. So we say, here we go again. So the challenge to us in this day to recognize how we thought we had planned for these type of situations, and we see how negligent we really are. And so do we go forward? How do we go forward to make things better? Then we have to really give that some contemplation. And so this is why I say this can be used as a scenario descriptive to what the message of God is all about. See, this is an opportunity. In God's way, every American citizen that wanted to be, not wanted to be, in these devastation areas, people are suffering everything: food, clothing, shelter. School systems are down to a great extent. Healthcare got to be down because there are no facilities. And employment, what about that? When the jobs mostly, depending on how the flood, and here we are thinking about how do you make it better. Every citizen in the United States of America that wants to play a part in the creative process by having a career of their own choosing, and each of those careers, my friend, is directly connected to the production of goods and services that have been determined by the people, are necessarily something that they need, want, and desire. And so when a catastrophe or some devastation like this occurred, behind Harvey and some of these other hurricanes and tornadoes, when it takes a breath, then the people from all over the nation will descend down in these areas, and the process would begin. And it is the rebuilding of a city, the rebuilding of a nation, of people who are doing this because it is an opportunity for them to get their greatest joy, and that is doing what they are created to do. And it's a lot of it needed down there in those storm areas. Where those fires are, a lot of it is needed. And it's not about money. It's about doing what you were created to do. And in so doing, you are repairing any shortcomings, anything that's messed up, you fixing it up. Anything that's falling down, you building it strong. That's the way you are in your relationships. And if it's good like that for the people of this nation, what about the people all over the world? People all over the world, when you start talking about one world government, it's not because the people coming together saying let's have one world government. You can bet your last money something corrupt is about that. But when each of the governments, wherever they are and everywhere, come to a realization that there's a power outside of them that's able to keep this thing and make it work together, and it starts working together in all of these different areas of the world, it will be working together because of the same principle. You're doing unto others as you'd have others to do unto you. And you don't even know anything about the other nation. But you're walking down the same path, and if you come up to a melting pot, it won't be no problem, because the same lesson that was taught on the east was taught on the west, taught on the north, taught on the south. And it had nothing to do with you, except you allowing the spirit of life to live and bubble through you. So I'm saying to all of the people of America, when you see people giving like this is the way the state has said. You got kindness in you, so they can't get it all out. So what they do in situations like this, allow you to give. And that will make you feel wonderful. You know you've given. You know you touched the spirit of your soul. And so you can go right ahead on and do this. And they say, okay, this is fine. And you do, the reason that they say this is fine is because this does not offend any of their purposes, any of their mission. Is not deterred here. In fact, it is lifted up. Because now, because you are able to do this, you're even more believing that your nation is a compassionate nation. When you do this because you don't know what the true nation is like. No one is giving you the picture of the true nation. And the true nation, ladies and gentlemen, is where I've been mentioning to you all the time, and I will not engage in it right here on this particular video beyond where I've gone. But check them out. Everything I ever talk about leads to the same thing. It leads about peace and prosperity and joy. How do you get rid of crime and violence? It doesn't make any sense for you to live on a system that denies people certain essentials of life, or belittles it so much till they find themselves having to go against a law that you have set up. You have set it up because you know darn well the system that you established is going to cause people to do certain things. And you don't want them to do it. So you put up a jail, so you're going to put them in jail if they do it, rather than you fixing the situation. And they don't know what you're doing. They trust in you. They believe in you. And you just sticking it to them every minute. Who? I'm talking to the powers that be. And I want you to know that goodness, though it allows those who make these decisions to have those decisions, make those choices, it still makes its belly turn looking at the consequences of such decisions. And so I say to you once again, ladies and gentlemen, all over the world, whatever constitution you're living under, respect it. Respect that constitution, but put that constitution where it belongs. It belongs under God. Under God. And I'm not talking about any word, one nation under God. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about God. And that nation, it will not be violating God's rules. And what's God's rule? Peace, prosperity, and joy. Oh, I said I wasn't going to say it anymore. It means clothes, food, shelter, education, health care, all of that for everybody on earth, unlimited and unrestricted. And everybody putting their hands in the process of making sure that all of these things are given to the people. That's the way God works. There ain't no money in there. Money is a tool of exploitation to make you have to go into war, make you slap your brother, make you kill your mama. All of that stuff comes from these systems that denies the freedom. Do you know what freedom is? Do you know what it was like to grow up in your parents' home? They were loving as they could be. But there was a moment you got a chance to walk out of that house out on your own. Do you know how fantastic that was? You know how fantastic it was when you finished school and you were through with that? Now you were ready. Do you know how fantastic it was when you said, I do? Well, then you realize you were caught. I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, freedom is a wonderful thing. And just think about every last one of you are free. Free to do the things that you want to do. And the things that you want to do are all good. Why? Because there's no need to do anything that's not good. Why? Because you got everything you want. It's right there before you. All you got to do is switch it up just like you want it. And you're truly enjoying it. And it doesn't mean that, oh, I can't explain it to you. You got to know it. Until next time, this is Marcus Priest saying, hand to hand is good, but it's just a touch of it. God is so much better. And I stand before you all of these times that you see me standing before you, telling you that God, you can't see, touch, or feel God outside of the observation as you whether it's through your eyes or your ears or your hands or whatever, allows you. And it allows you. And it is. And so when you look at most of the things outside of those things that are just there, we play a process in it. And the evidence is right there before our eyes. And so that comes from that same power. And so when those powers work together, working together, darn, I feel so stupid sitting here talking to you about this again. But I'm compelled to do so. It's so funny. It's so funny. I want you to imagine, as I get ready to leave here, that you pass on, that your moment in life pass on. You die in this body form. And as you do, your spirit is coming from your body. And it's getting out, stretching away. But at the same time, you can see all of the things that's happening. In fact, you can even see those things that aren't even happening to the human eye yet. And you see the situations that, had you acted a different kind of way, the situation would have come out so much smoother, and you could have relaxed in peace as you were going forward. But now you, because of the way you acted, you're going through turmoil because there's something that you wish you could do and there's nothing that you can do, something that you want to be done and you can't have any influence on it, and you're watching people who are coming along making the same mistakes you made, and it's just driving you crazy. You can't do anything about it. Ain't that something? You better do something about it today. Bye-bye.